Hey, it's Rowan. So this month's video is actually meant to be a video essay around gaslighting in horror movies, but I planned that before, everything happened, and I've been having a really crappy day today, and I kind of felt like this is the sort of video that I would need or want right now, and I've seen a lot of people making videos around and lists about, movies and TV shows to watch that are comforting right now, so I thought I would make it, being me, specifically around queer media. So this is a list of comforting, heartwarming, just lovely, gooey in the heart queer movies that you can watch. This is also probably a good time to mention, if you're a queer movie fan or you want to watch more queer movies going forwards, every single Saturday, me and my queer movie podcast co-host Jazza are going to be hosting these watch-alongs. So we're watching a different queer movie every single week, and you can join in the discussion on Twitter and Discord. I'll leave information about that in the description. I want to do a quick note or disclaimer about these movies. Although they are all overall really feel good and positive and uplifting movies, they will obviously deal with some aspects, especially of the queer experience, that some of you might find quite difficult even when they're treated in a light-hearted way. So there are some that talk about conversion therapy, there are some that talk about coming out experiences or estrangement from family members. So if you want to watch any of these films and you feel like those might be difficult for you, please look them up beforehand and just check in with yourself and make sure they're right for you. So I picked out 10 movies for this video, but honestly I could have done so many more. I have like a much longer list, and I'd really love to hear in the comments any movies that you would recommend and why. I kind of want to do another one of these maybe in a few months' time, but with your recommendations specifically. So yeah, if there's any that you feel like I've missed out or that you think are really good and that you'd want to recommend to other people, put them in the comments. And then if you are looking for more movies to watch, then check out other people's recommendations. So without further ado, let's have a look at the list, and this is in no particular order. The first movie I want to talk about is The Way He Looks. I love this movie so much. So it was originally a short film, and the popularity and like how well received that short film was means that they ended up being able to make a feature of it with the same actors, and it's so delightful. It's basically about this blind high schooler Leo, and it's all about his relationship with his best friend Giovanna and his kind of blossoming crush on the new boy in school, and also him essentially wanting to like move abroad and discover his independence from his like very protective family. And it is so delightful. It is like all of the warm fuzzy feelings. There are these visual vignettes in this movie, these moments that I just like think about and have to smile. The last shot of this movie, it is so good. Oh my god. So this is actually quite a good recommendation if you're having a lot of trouble concentrating right now, if you're feeling really anxious, which I know a lot of people are. I'm pretty sure the short film is still available for free online, and it's obviously a lot shorter than the feature, so that might be a nice little nugget of goodness and niceness that you can watch instead. Film number 2, this I feel it will come as no surprise to anyone who has ever met me, but it's Pride. I adore this movie so much. It is based on a true story of Welsh miners and queer activists who in the 80s started working together during what's known as the miners' strike in the UK. Basically, it's this incredible story of like clash of cultures, which is such a staple of British cinema, of working class communities working together, of just generosity and solidarity. It is so delightful. The cast of characters are wonderful. It has some truly brilliant actors in it, including like big hitters like Bill Nighy, but also like George McKay, who was in 1917, if you've seen that movie. Just such talent. It will make you feel so like positive and invigorated about the capacity for people to work together and to find commonality, and just it's one of my favourite movies of all time, put it that way. Number 3 is a classic in the lesbian British rom-com genre, which I guess is now a thing, and something that, side note, Bend It Like Beckham should be part of that group. I forever am devastated about the fact that that is not a gay movie. Anyway, this one is Imagine Me and You. It's a story of Rachel. She is getting married, and Luce, who is a florist at her wedding. It is literally a florist wedding AU fanfiction come onto the big screen. It is absolutely like spark at first sight between these two women. There's this developing romance between them. It has some incredible mid-2000s clothing choices. Also, incidentally, stars Anthony Head as a very oblivious but supportive dad, which is one of my favourite tropes in these kind of like queer films. And him as an actual person in real life is a noted LGBT ally, specifically trans ally. I will let you Google that and find that absolutely freaking delightful story if you have never heard about it before. It is amazing. we love him. It is also where the infamous quote, "You're a wanker number 9" comes from, which you may have heard of that context before, especially in lesbian circles in Britain. The context is this movie, so watch to find it. Also the line, "Are you gay?" Gay? I'm ecstatic, which is beautiful. So number 4 is a film that was one of my favourite queer films as a teenager. It's Shelter. So everyone I know who's watched it really likes it, but not that many people have watched it. And I think I watched it for the first time with a group of my friends when we had a queer movie night, or the whole day actually, where we just rented like we bought 5 DVDs from Peccadillo Pictures, sort of like at random, and just watched them all, and this one really stood out. It's about this aspiring artist, Zach, who kind of starts to have a little bit of a crush on his best friend's brother who comes back into town. There's also this B-plot line which is adorable and really heartfelt about the fact that he is like the de facto father for his sister's son, so for his nephew, and also the best friend's brother is very good with kids, so it makes for like some really, really cute scenes with those 3 together. The film is set in San Pedro in California, so there is a lot of like street art and surfing. It's also pretty cool. It is a very sweet, satisfying watch with a terrible trailer I found out today when I went to re-look at that trailer. It's real bad, but it is just like that classic quintessential like indie gay movie. So with movie number 5, have you ever wanted the super spy and the super villain to fall in love? And also for those 2 characters to both be women? Well, welcome to Debs. I honestly don't know how to do Debs justice by actually explaining it with words. It is so ridiculous and campy and just wild, a wild ride. It's basically about this elite academy of super spy women, and also the super villain they're going after. One of them, they end up having this relationship. It's really gay, and just watch it. I mean, it is, if you want something that's just going to take you to another world, just an escapist movie, watch Debs. Number 6, Handsome Devil. So this is like a newer movie. Some of these ones I've been talking about are a little bit older. This is, I say older in terms of queer movies. They're like from the 2000s. This was from a couple of years ago. It's like an Irish comedy drama. One of my favourite things about it is the way in which it depicts 2 different generations of gay experiences. So on the one hand there is like the high schoolers experience, but you also get the teacher's experience. The teacher played by Andrew Scott as well, who, you know, the hot priest in Fleabag or Moriarty in Sherlock, again depending on your references. It's basically about Ned, who's this kind of snarky, slightly ostracised, but he doesn't really care because he hates all of the boys at his like elite rugby playing school, who has always had his own room, and then this new boy Connor starts, and he has been scouted to be the top golden boy of the rugby team. So obviously Ned immediately is like, I hate my roommate, I never want to speak to him. But you know, the walls physically and metaphorically start coming down, and they start getting along and like actually being friends, and like maybe there might be something more to it. But it's just like a really sweet, nice, classic high school movie. Like it has all of those tropes of like the sports game and the talent show and the miscommunication and like all of that good stuff. And on the Andrew Scott character side, you have the story of this kind of closeted male teacher who's not really sure how open he can be about his sexuality within the school and to the staff. And that was also like a really, I mean, he's a very talented actor. It's a very well acted bit of a story. I just found the whole thing just really sweet and nice to watch. Number 7, Booksmart. This keeps being missed out, I think, from a lot of the like LGBT movie lists, but it is, I've rewatched it a few times, and I always think like, oh, it's not as funny as I remember it being, but it is really funny. It's a really brilliant like teen comedy, female director, like female leads, and although a lot of the storyline is really about this friendship between these 2 girls, this straight girl and this gay girl, who have been best friends forever, and basically the plotline is that they have basically done nothing bad in their high school careers. They have been studious, they have worked as hard as they can to get into their top universities, and they've succeeded. However, all of the kids who are having fun and partying have also succeeded into getting to their universities while also having fun, and so they decide that there's going to be one last night of like going crazy, having an amazing party, like doing everything that they denied themselves before they go off to college. And there is this really brilliantly scripted friendship between these two girls, but there is also the fact that one of them is gay. Her best friend doesn't care, she's already out, everyone knows, it's not a big deal, but she's never had like a girlfriend before. And so you have this is kind of like very much a B plot line happening on the underneath there. Both of their sort of romantic entanglements are very much B plot to their friendship. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think it's just really nice to have it as just like a casual thing within this really, really stellar teen comedy. Film number 8 is Princess Sid. So I really like this movie. It came out last year. It is about a girl called Sid who goes to stay with her aunt for the summer. Her aunt is this well-known writer, and it's just about what happens during the summer. So things like she starts to have a little crush on this barista Katie and discover her sexuality, and it's never treated as like a fraught, like, oh god kind of thing. It's just very casual. She also attends like these super queer literary salons at her aunt's place. Her and her aunt, kind of their relationship grows and blossoms, and it's just such a nice film. It also just, I think, does a really, really good job of having a teenage character feel and act like a teenager. So not being like the stereotypical mean girl or like a paragon of virtue who speaks in like Vonnegut quotes all the time. Like, she says things that are sometimes inappropriate, and she's quite blunt, and she finds it difficult to apologise, but she's also like means well, and it's just it just felt really fresh to me and really, really honest, and I really like that. There's also like, it's not, the word isn't used within the text, but I think it is pretty obvious that her aunt is asexual. And that was something that really felt like an authentic portrayal of that identity that I hadn't really seen before, so that also had a special place in my heart. And number 9 is Boy Meets Girl. It's really annoying and frustrating that it is unusual, but it is unusual for there to be a romantic movie with a happy ending with a trans girl played by a trans girl. This movie's it. So our lead character is Ricky. She is really dedicated to the idea of her dream of being a fashion designer and going to New York to study fashion. So she basically spends her time working at this coffee shop and hanging out with her best friend since forever. And then she kind of starts this blossoming romance with this new girl who comes into the coffee shop. It's just this kind of classic romantic drama-y, self-discovery, and also kind of romantic confusion. Oh, who do I really like? All that kind of stuff. The classic, you know, boy who's been best friends with you forever, who maybe has a crush on you thing. Like, all of that tied together with all of the specific experiences that being a trans girl might give you. And finally, we've reached number 10, an absolute, cannot overstate this, classic of this genre. It's But I'm a Cheerleader. So Megan is your classic American high school cheerleader, dating, born the football team kind of gal. Except for the fact that she's a lesbian. Her family all decide to stage an intervention and ship her off to a gay conversion camp, which admittedly does not seem like a recipe for a very positive, feel-good movie, but the way in which they portray the camp is this really ridiculous, over-the-top pastiche idea. She has this amazing kind of relationship that starts developing with a fellow camper, played by Claire Duvall. It is generally regarded as one of the best feel-good lesbian movies out there, and with very good reason. The final scene, just iconic. It's just amazing. It's so good and so stylized and so ridiculous over the top, and RuPaul is in it, which I only remembered the other day and Google imaged it, and it fills me with joy yet again. It's just a brilliant watch. That is the list. I'm gonna give some honourable mentions. San Junipero, which is an episode of Black Mirror but can be watched as a standalone. It isn't necessarily what you would consider to be like overly positive the whole way through, which is why I didn't put it in the main part of this list, but ultimately is one of the only Black Mirror episodes with a happy ending, and it is pretty much beloved by all of the queer women that I know, myself included. And lastly, I want to recommend The Watermelon Woman. So this is an absolute classic of black lesbian cinema. I watched it for the first time just under a year ago at the BFI and absolutely loved it. Well worth a watch. It's quite a contemplative film and there's a lot of really comedic moments. It's about a woman who is looking for the history of black lesbian cinema. And so it's this sort of really interesting mix of like documentary and fiction, and it's just such a brilliantly made film. So definitely check that out as well. So that is the list. Please let me know what you thought about these movies if you've already seen them, or if you end up watching them because of this video, in the comments. And as I said before at the beginning, if people are interested, I'd love to do another one of these videos specifically with your suggestions. So if you have a film you want to suggest, put them below with a little bit about why, and I will maybe feature them in this next video. And as always, if you'd like to help support me make these videos, then I can leave a link to my Patreon down below, as well as all my social media, so you can find me all over the internet. And until I see you next time, bye.